Last time on CAW, Bruiser Jones outlasted three others in a ladder match to become the first ever CAW United States Champion. And in the main event, Big Bad Brad submits Mr. Nice Guy to win the CAW World Championship Tournament and become the first ever CAW World Heavyweight Champion. Next week, we will have a Cruiserweight showcase to determine our first ever champion. And Mr. Nice Guy signs a 3-month contract to stay on SmackDown after his recent performances. And tonight, we will have a Fatal 4-Way to determine Big Bad Brad's first ever #1 contender. That is up next. Alright everyone, we are here with our Friday Night SmackDown card. The setting is in Salt Lake City, Utah, and today we have a great one. Alright, the show is going to open up with Bo Williams versus Mr. Nice Guy in a hardcore bout. So basically, the way that this is playing out, Mr. Nice Guy has had an amazing season so far these past few weeks. He was the underdog in the tournament and found himself in the finals. He wasn't even supposed to make it out of round number 1, but upset after upset, he just kept proving the doubters wrong. And in this episode, you guys just saw him sign his 3-month contract to stay on Friday Night SmackDown. He earned that over all of his efforts that he's been doing these past few weeks. On the other hand, there is Bo Williams. The thing about Bo Williams is he hasn't been showing up. He was the #1 seed in the World Championship Tournament and ultimately lost in the semifinals to Big Bad Brad. Since that tournament, Bo Williams hasn't been doing that great. Loss after loss, and things just aren't doing well for him. For a man with high expectations, it just crushes him to see someone like Mr. Nice Guy announced as one of the competitors in the Fatal 4-Way #1 contenders match for the World Heavyweight Championship later on tonight. Bo Williams didn't like that fact, and now he is striking back, making a heel turn against Mr. Nice Guy. Let's see if this backfires on Bo or makes him an even greater threat here on Friday Night SmackDown. And Mr. Nice Guy still comes out with the victory over Bo Williams. Bo Williams again with the heel turn, but Mr. Nice Guy proves why he earned this 3-month contract. He earned this contract and he's not letting up, taking out Bo Williams, keeping himself on top here. All right, and so here we have a hardcore bout between Delano Anderson and Kyle Ryder. These are two of the cruiserweights that are going to be competing in the Fatal 4-Way for the Cruiserweight Championship next week. All right, this is a little preview. Maybe one of these guys builds some momentum for next week. Maybe someone loses and tries to figure out a way to overcome that for next week. The situations are varied. We'll see what happens between Delano and Kyle Ryder. And Delano Anderson picks up the victory. A lot of athleticism with him. You know, he hasn't been doing too well the past couple weeks, but a big win over Kyle Ryder, who he will see again in next week's episode. All right, and now we have a backstage brawl. So apparently Jamal Curry isn't too happy about the fact that he didn't get his contract extended. All right, he knows he is being released, and because of that, he gets a little pissed off. He gets a little mad and bumps into Hollywood Blake Austin, who is already not having the best day himself. Hollywood Blake Austin does not like the commotion between him and Jamal Curry, and instead of just letting Jamal vent out, Blake Austin goes into a backstage parking lot brawl to try and shut him up. Let's see what happens in this match right here. And Blake Austin comes out with the victory over Jamal Curry. And honestly, he's just trying to shut Jamal Curry up before Jamal Curry has to walk off and leave this episode, or leave this brand, I must say. All right, and so now we are moving into a handicap match between Blake Austin and his opponents Chris Classic and Jamal Curry. So Jamal Curry is down on the ground after getting beat up by Blake Austin. But luckily, Chris Classic is there to see this. Chris and Blake have been in a pretty solid rivalry these past few weeks. Blake has gotten the upper hand between the two guys and even has pushed Chris Classic to a point where his fatigue has been very, very concerning. But now, Chris Classic helps Jamal Curry up. And maybe with the power of two, they can come out and beat out Blake Austin. Let's see what happens. And no, Blake Austin with another victory. Another victory. Chris Classic, even with the help of Chris Classic, Jamal Curry can't get the victory over Blake Austin. Blake Austin is dominating this rivalry against Chris Classic and is now leaving Jamal Curry with a horrible beatdown before getting kicked off of the SmackDown brand. And now we are at the fatal four-way match to determine the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. We have the United States Champion, Bruiser Jones, Mr. Nice Guy, Cowboy Billy Spade, and Azrael. All right, let's see who's going to come out on top. Who is going to face Big Bad Brad for the World Heavyweight Championship at Judgment Day? And Billy Spade snaps him down to the mat. Azrael raining down punches down onto Bruiser Jones in the corner. Mr. Nice Guy charges at him with a lariat. Bruiser Jones takes him up and crash. He takes him down to the mat. He goes for the pin. Mr. Nice Guy, look down, let go of Billy Spade. He's gonna win the match. 3. Bruiser Jones does it. Bruiser Jones does it. I cannot believe it. Bruiser Jones has outlasted 3 others for the second week in a row to now become the number one contender for Big Bad Brad's World Heavyweight Championship. He is the United States Champion with the intentions of winning the world title as well. Mr. Nice Guy had the chance to break it up, but no, we have Bruiser Jones pinning Azrael to become the number one contender. He has gone from good to great, and he can become extraordinary with the world title. And just like that, Bruiser Jones goes from good to great. He is the United States champion and has a shot at the world title. That is insane. Amazing victory for him right here. Mr. Nice Guy, all you had to do was toss Billy Spade off to the side and break it up. That one's going to hurt him. That's going to, you know what? He just signed a contract. He just signed the contract. All right, so now we're going to look at some news here. So the match of the week is going to Raw. They had a whopping 1.0 star match. That is awesome. 1.0 star. We are building up 1.0 star matches now. Great for them. Tank is in the match of the week. New free agent. All right, so this is one of the new free agents that we are going to be signing. All right, I'm going to get to that soon, but Koa Cruz from Honolulu, Hawaii is actually going to be joining us next week. And then we got a new deal with Mr. Nice Guy. Yep, so that 3-month deal for Mr. Nice Guy. Did pretty good, though. His first couple matches back, he had that parking lot brawl, or that hardcore bout with Bo Williams that he ended up winning. And then in the main event, he looked amazing. He just, I don't know, had a little brain fart over there at the very end of that match. A match enjoyed by all. Blake Austin coming out on top in his match. This is the backstage brawl. It really could have been either one because he won both of the matches that I put him in. But it did pull in a 0.5. I want to see when we are going to get a 1.0 star. And then they had a TLC match with Gladiator that was, that he ended up pulling out. Great week of news here. All right, if we look at our Friday Night SmackDown card, again, everything is a half star down the line here. We got a half star show. I believe Raw, it said they had the first 1 star. All right, so they beat me to the 1 star. with Tank and Midnight over Ray Ryder and Sasuke. That's a huge win for Tank right there. Really big win for him. But if we look at Raw's card, they had Lisa Lee and Casey Jackson losing to Joel Udo and Rachel. So Joel Udo, that's a big win for him. He was like on a 5 or 6 match losing streak. And that's against two of the tougher women on the roster. I think Casey and Lisa have held the women's championship, so that's big for him. Super Dude defeats Dr. Walters. Ooh, another big win for Super Dude. These guys are definitely in a rivalry, and that's what's building their popularity. And then we have a TLC Gladiator, Zach Frost, Ricky Nash. Zach Frost is a pretty solid competitor on this brand, but Gladiator ends up picking the big win in that triple threat. And then we have a ladder match with, Tank, Ray Ryder, Sasuke. Overall, this was a great card for them. They did pretty good. I like how they're using these guys. All right, so now if we look at our roster and look at our top 5 guys popularity-wise, we have Big Bad Brad at 1, Blake Austin at 2, Bruiser Jones is at 3, Mr. Nice Guy is at 4, and then Azrael is at 5 right here. I did sign Isaiah Hawkins and Koa Cruz. If you guys want to see these guys real quick, again, they are 0 and 0. Both of these guys are cruiserweight, so they're going to be in that cruiserweight tournament. But yeah, this is Koa Cruz and Isaiah Hawkins. Looking at the fan support, we are at 4,760,000. Raw is at 5,240,000. They won by 10,000 last week. A very close show, but I think if we just keep firing away with these shows, we will start coming back. We haven't won a single week yet, though, so let's start getting some wins here. All right, I got to start building up some more guys. I got 2 more guys on my roster. Let's see what happens. And then again, we're going to finish up with our Power 25. The number 1 dude in the company is Ray Ryder. He did lose his match on Raw, but he stays on top at number 1. Big Bad Brad is number 2. He did not have a match here, but he did set up that amazing fatal 4-way to determine his number 1 contender, and that eventually ended up being our United States champion, Bruiser Jones. Blake Austin at number 3. Huge week for him, 2 Ws. And then we have Zach Frost, Sasuke, Bruiser Jones is at 6 here. All right, and then we keep going down. This is everybody else. Now let's go over to our SmackDown brand. Top 5 guys, again, are contenders for the world title. Bruiser Jones here is the number 1 contender currently. And then if we go down here from 6 down, everybody is a contender for the United States Championship. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.